I'm Chef Nestor from Trio in Palm Springs, where Palm Springs eats. And I'm here with you guys today, and we're going to be preparing date and habanero shrimp. And then we're also going to do a millet pilaf. Millet, do you guys know what millet is? It's like a small grain. They use it a lot for to make a bird seed food. So you guys are going to eat like birds today, hopefully. Okay, so we're going to start off by, on the recipe, I have some date crystals. We get them locally here at either here in the desert. It's just called Shields Ranch. This is where I get mine from. But it's basically it's just crystallized dates, and it just brings out a lot of the sugars and a lot of the sweetness out of the date. And it's easier to work with. You don't have to be peeling the dates or coring them. So I'm going to get the first thing to start off is get the date crystals, and then I soak them in water, just hot water, just to break it down. And they also add some date sugar to it to give it a little sweetness to contrast the spiciness of the habanero. And we're gonna let that soak over while we start working on the millet. So for the millet, let me get this thing on. I'm gonna toast it a little bit, give it some color, with a little bit of oil. It's almost like working with rice. You want to, give it a little color first. So, little oil, just toast it a little bit. You don't want to burn it, lightly. It'll start smelling a little bit of the burnt smokiness, of the millet. It's almost like when you're cooking almonds or nuts. It gives it that essence. So, put it on medium heat. We're gonna toast it up a little bit. Once you start seeing the millet change a little color, turning a little bit like darker brown, then we're gonna add some carrots and some onions to it. Okay, I got some onions here. And I have my chopped carrots. And a little bit of garlic. So just be careful not to burn the garlic. It'll make it a little bitter. So just saute till the onions become translucent. And then we're going to add our chicken stock to it. So this is usually for millet, we do 1 part, millet or the grain to 3 parts water, just so it can have enough time to soften up. So, okay, so we're gonna leave that on a simmer, and then right before you start seeing all the liquid, evaporating, then we usually cover it up and let it just finish it off with the steam. And while we're working with that, we're gonna start working on our shrimp. Actually, we're gonna work on our date sauce. So once we go back to our dates, it would have been soaked for a couple of minutes, the hot water, the sugar. So then I just put it in the blender, and then I get a paste like this. This is what comes out, just from the crystals, water, and the sugar. And it's almost like a jam, taste to it. It's real sweet. So I blended it all together, and this is what came out. So now we get our pan, get it hot. A little bit of oil. And then we're going to add the shrimp to it. Now, once you start noticing the shrimp, change a little color, turn a little pink. Then we're going to deglaze it with a little bit of wine. Oh, here. You don't want to cook the shrimp too much. It gets a little rubbery. And the more you cook the shrimp, the more smaller they become. They lose a lot of liquid. All right, so now we got them cooking, and we're gonna add some of the date glaze. And also add a little bit of white wine vinegar, just because of the sweetness. A little salt. And then oh, the habanero. Most important part. So to make this this paste, I just grab I usually buy 5 pounds of habaneros. You don't have to buy that many, but and then just kind of boil them, reduce it down, and then just blend it. Just blend it in the blender, and then just strain it. Take all the seeds and chunks, and then this is what comes out at the end. It's just like a paste, and it's usually I add a little vinegar to it to last a little longer. But for this, I mean, I just made it today, so it's gonna be used up today. So the shrimp are almost done. Now we're waiting on our millet. So are you guys having fun today or no? A lot of good wine out there? I gotta go try it out right now. I came for the drinks, not for the demo. Right? Okay, so we got our shrimp ready. As you can see, they're nicely coated. Is there the camera? Yeah. They're nicely coated with all the date. Now, it all depends on how much spiciness you like. If you're going to use a lot of habanero, a little bit, you might want to be tasting it little by little before you add all the habanero to it that the recipe calls for. So we'll turn this one off. While our millet is trying to cook over here. Any good wines out there? I got the experts over here. That's who I hang around with. That's it. Any of you guys been a trio before? Yeah? All right. We're all going after this, right? All right, so the shrimp's done already. Millet is still cooking. But we have some made back there. They're plating up as we working here for you guys. Do you guys have any questions? No? Yeah, just water and just boil it. And then at the end, you want to add a little bit of salt and some vinegar, either like a white wine vinegar or white vinegar, just to preserve it. It'll last up to 2 weeks in your fridge, rather than if you just don't add anything to it, it'll just go bad right away. The dates, it's a date sugar, but I put about 3 tablespoons for this small recipe. But you can use it, for shakes, for make ice cream, desserts, anything. The date sugar. I know we're spoiled out here, in the desert. We have all these date places everywhere, every corner. You can get all the stuff. A lot of people are from out of town. It's a little bit harder, but it's worth the drive out to Palm Springs, right? And there it is. Voila.